Welcome back to another episode of Start Your Day with an Amazing Creative. And on today's episode, we have Stephanie Draker here playing with us and sharing her routine with us. Welcome, Stephanie.
Hi, Betty.
Yay! So I'm very excited to learn about your routine. To start off, can you share with us what's a typical work week look like for you?
There is no typical work week, I think. I mean, in theory, I could have a typical Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. work week if I wanted to reinforce that. But that's not necessarily how the people in our sector work. So I want to make sure that I'm, with people and can be with people when they need me to be through our programming. So very often I'm working outside of those hours, sometimes outside of the city. It can be different week to week, and that's what I like about my job.
Awesome. And how do you like to start your workday?
I like to think I started off slowly, but that doesn't last too long because I do have to tend to a dependent, which is my 15-pound rescue dog, Jelly Bean. And she doesn't care that I need to get to work, whether it's setting it up in my home office or hopping on the streetcar to head to 401 Richmond or beyond. But she does make sure that our needs are met, both hers and mine, in terms of, making sure we get some movement when we go for a
Mhm.
morning walk, connect with neighbors, we observe the neighborhood, and we both make sure that we're eating breakfast. So I think that's a very important way to start the day.
Jellybean, I inserts her routine in your life,
She
and it
does,
seems like
absolutely. Yeah.
it
Her
seems like
needs
it's a
come
working
first.
routine. Amazing. And how do you like to end your workday?
Well, when I'm working, I like to have my list for the next day typed up or written up, have my calendar full of reminders and prompts so that when I shut down my computer, I'm done. I
Mm,
can create that space that I need to recharge and, make sure I'm really taking care of myself. And so that I can be present for other parts of my life, like my family and friends. And it also helps that I generally end my day the way that I started it with my dog Jellybean in tow, walking around the neighborhood and physically creating that space and time for us. It's something that's easier than said than done, right? Especially I think when you work in the arts. Earlier in my career, I felt like I needed to reinforce that culture and make sure I was out at everything. But now I make sure that I'm very intentional about what I do when I end my workday.
I love that. And just because I'm a nerd for systems and like tools, I'm going to ask you a follow-up question there because you said reminders and prompts. Do you use that? Do you do it in like, pen and paper, or is there some like amazing tool, digital tool you're using?
Oh goodness, it's a variety of things. I think when I'm more organized, I have my list typed out in my Outlook calendar. I set reminders on them so that I don't even have to think about it. A little prompt will come up at a time, some random time that I've selected so that it surprises me. So when I'm more organized, it's that way. Other times it looks a little bit more like my desk does right now, which you can't see, and it's a series of post-it notes, handwritten notes, one word.
I definitely have those situations.
Yeah, I've
One
got
word, yeah.
post-it notes kind of like all over the place right now. And really those are additional prompts to help me.
Amazing. What's your favorite way to get into the creative zone?
I think for me, it actually has to be being in creative spaces, like physically being in creative spaces. I have a visual arts background, and my husband has a theater background. So I've been in such a range of creative spaces, both as an audience member, but also behind the scenes as a creator. So I think actually being in the space and knowing those insights into the creation process definitely helps me get into that zone. Um,
Mm,
yeah, and I think that's really something to say about being an arts manager, though, isn't it? Right? Like I'm not usually purely a patron when I go to a
hmm.
show or I go to a gallery or an installation.
Yeah,
I'm
sometimes feels
usually
like you're just working, you're researching.
yeah,
Oh, hmm.
yeah. I'm usually in those spaces with my work hat on. So I think if I am truly getting into the creative zone, it's very important to make sure that when I'm in that space, I'm remembering what, drove me to the arts in the first place, and I'm there, purely for the enjoyment of it.
Oh, amazing. There's a connection to the purpose, kind of
Yeah.
purpose there. Yeah. You talk about your desk 2 questions ago, so we're
Yeah.
wrapping up this with my favorite question. It's got to be the what's one item that you always have on your desk?
Oh my God, just one? I'm gonna have to give you more than one because
Do you have
it's
hours?
Well, I mean, right now it's 2 to 3 mugs or glasses, right?
Hmm.
I think one thing that I've been doing lately, especially returning to in-person programming, is I like to collect the lanyards of all the,
Oh.
with my name tag, with all the
Mm.
special talks and conferences I've been, either invited to or attended, just kind of hanging off the side of my desk as mementos because, I think it's a reinforcement that I was in the right space and deserve to take up space in those places. And then, as mentioned earlier, I just have a flurry of post-it notes and scraps of paper with notes, single words from meetings that I've had. Just kind of all over the place. And there's
Mhm.
some method to the madness, but yeah, that's usually what's on my desk.
I can visualize it, even though we
Yeah,
can't see it, but I
yeah.
can
No,
visualize
I'm
your
not I'm not
desk,
going to
and
reveal it. It's going to remain a secret.
it's the mystery
It's
behind
a
the
mystery. Yeah,
curtain. And I love it. Lanyards and sticky notes and stay hydrated with multiple beverages, which I definitely
absolutely.
share that as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us the behind the scene of how you work.
Of course. No, happy to do it. Well, not literally behind the scenes, right? I'm not
No,
gonna, move the camera,
yeah,
but
yeah. Yay. Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie.
thank you, Betty.